Welcome to a very special mini-sode of Power of X-Men. And who do we have with us today? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Who's on the Zoom?
Heidi ho, everyone. The Ascani sun is shining again.
Here he is. I haven't seen you since New York. You were in New York a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago.
Has it been a month already?
Nearly, yeah. It doesn't seem like it.
No, I thought it was like last week.
Almost a month, yeah.
How have you been?
Good. Just working hard or hardly working. So I've kind of been in a bit of a funk lately. I'm still doing like work, drawings and whatnot, but not as much as usual. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so tired. It happens when you turn 40. So.
Oh my God, you don't look 40. Guys, I've met Ascani's son IRL apparently a month ago. I thought it was like 2 weeks ago. He's just as handsome as he is on screen.
Stop.
I was like, hi, how are you doing? And you're like, bitch.
It was a lot of fun, and we definitely have to reunite and do that again. So I'm just saying.
I know. I mean, I think it's my turn to go to you. I'm down. I think I'm going to be in your neck of the woods.
You don't want to come here. It's boring as fuck.
We'll make it exciting.
DC. We'll have to go to DC.
Well, if we go to DC, you know who we're going to have to hit up.
Demanda Martini.
You're wearing a Demanda Martini shirt if you're listening to this on YouTube. I'm sorry, on a podcast.
So, Demanda, if you're listening, I bought your shirt hoping that I was going to get it prior to coming to New York City. It came the day I left. I had just missed the package. I was totally going to wear it while we were hanging out. That was the plan.
That was the plan.
But I'm going to wear it today, so I've got it on, representing our girl. She's the best. She's amazing.
She's amazing. I was going to wear your shirt when we were hanging out, but I forgot why I didn't. I either have just worn it so much that I was in the laundry, or I was just like, I'd rather wear a cute outfit.
Oh, wow. Well, the shirt you're wearing right now, I thought I saw some 3-year-old wearing the same exact thing.
Shut the fuck up.
First of all, but you look like you're the same size anyway. So
thank you. So there you go. So I'm the same size as a 3-year-old. But I am wearing the Power Up Girls, which is Peach, Zelda, and Samus in Powerpuff Girls format. I love the sweatshirt so much.
I love it. I may have to actually get one myself.
I
have to say though, I just listened to your episode with Michelle Waffles Otero. Oh my God, what a cosplay goddess she is! Michelle, if you listen to this, you're amazing, and I love you.
So we're gonna have Michelle again on Saturday because we recorded an episode with Larry Houston and Generation X. Yeah, so we're really excited to air that one. It's been 3 months in the making, but it's that was her official first podcast appearance, and I love Michelle.
Oh, she's
so
awesome.
Great. I also saw her IRL.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw her in LA when I was there. I went out to go see her and her husband.
Yeah,
which they were phenomenal.
Because you cosplay. She was Emma. You were Christian.
I know.
That was awesome.
I'm so happy to be like the only Christian Frost cosplayer out there because no one really knows who he is, and he's just a character that I relate to so much. I don't know what that says about me that I relate most to Christian and Fabian Cortez, but
I mean, you're both bitches, so
oh
I mean, there you go.
There are some people out there that would agree with you. But speaking of bitches,
I kid, of course.
But speaking of bitches with a W, we're here to talk about the Pretender's death and the Trial of Magneto trailer, which dropped today.
Oh my God. And boy, was it a bombshell of a trailer.
I was not expecting it. I actually woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it easy today on social media. I'm going to take it easy with the podcast. No, because the X-Men arcade game went up for pre-order. You can get that. Yeah. I know. I have neither the space nor the funds for it.
I don't either. So I had to sadly let that one pass.
I know Madrox, aka Daryl, and Flickman both bought it, and they were like, "Oh, it has online play. You can do it." And I'm like, I'm like looking at my bank account and looking at the no space I have here in New York. You didn't come to my apartment. when you were in New York. No, why didn't I invite you? I should have invited you over.
I don't know. It was rude, but
yeah, I don't have the space for it. That's what it boils down to.
I
don't mind taking out a credit card or a loan with the bank for it.
Well, I looked at that honestly, and then I looked at my account as well, and I swear I had a face pop up my phone saying, "Don't you think about it." I was like, "Okay, I won't."
But yeah, so it was a big deal today for the X-Men on the Instagrams, Twitter, Facebooks, wherever you guys go on social media. And the biggest thing was, of course, the Trial of Magneto trailer, which dropped. And I don't think we've talked about this. What did you think about Wanda's death in X Factor?
To be honest, it wasn't really surprising because I knew it was going to be a character of pretty great significance. And I mean, she wasn't really the first person that I thought of. I mean, I don't even remember who I thought of, but she wasn't really on the radar. But when she made that appearance, reuniting with Magneto, I kind of had a feeling something was going to come of that later. I didn't realize that it was going to be her dying, but thinking about it now, it's not really surprising. And yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how this plays out. I don't think, like a lot of people as well, think she's going to stay dead. I mean, come on, let's just be honest for a second. I mean, with the success of WandaVision, especially now that show has garnered 23 Emmy nominations, I mean, that's freaking amazing and well-deserved too. They're not going to keep her, dead in the ground for long. I mean, maybe like a minute or so, but I mean, she's going to come back, and I'm thinking this is probably going to revitalize her as being an official mutant again.
I hope so.
The big theory out there right now, and I hope it does too, because I mean that retcon was just so damn silly, and I think they just need to go back to basics with both her and Pietro.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I want to say. One, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I think the retcon was so silly. I think it was done obviously because of the Fox Disney wars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And rightfully so. And Jordan D. White, I mean, he can't speak for Marvel officially because he didn't even work in the X office at the time, but he did tell us that, Marvel is an IP business, and it was in their best interest at one point to have them as mutants, and then it was in their best interest to not have them as mutants. I will say now, I think it's in their best interest to have the twins back as mutants, especially with the Young Avengers.
Absolutely. I mean, and her children, aren't they still considered mutants?
Yes.
Billy and Tommy?
Not officially, but again, Jordan D. White said that Wanda at the time, she created them. She believed she was a mutant, so she would have made them with the X gene. So
right. Because, and I feel bad, I kind of get these two mixed up. Is it Billy's the one that is fast?
No. It's the other way around. Tommy's fast.
Tommy, that's right. Tommy is the speedster,
and he's on Krakoa.
He was on Krakoa.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I was just wondering. Like, I think isn't he considered a mutant because he was on the island? And I think you might even discuss in the past episode about Wanda having shown up on Krakoa and not wearing a flower. And
yeah.
Didn't Jordan D. White say that was done on purpose?
Yeah, Jordan D. White said that Cerebro would recognize her as a mutant. And my only, contrast to that, or not to be a contrarian, but the only thing I would say, as a counterpoint is this bitch decimated your entire species after 16 million of you guys were killed on Genosha. I think someone would have gone in and updated the Wikipedia page on Cerebro to just be like, oh, Wanda, not a mutant, don't allow. I mean, because again, it's not like some no-name character who, they forgot, oh, I guess they're not a mutant. Oops, we didn't update the file on her. But with Wanda, I think it's pretty big. I still haven't read that interview. That's something that Alex Tucker told me when I kikied with him IRL, but he reads all of the interviews and stuff like that. So, but I think that was also a way of saying that there is a backup of Scarlet Witch. Oh, and what if it's pre-decimation Scarlet Witch that's backed up? What if they stop backing her up then?
I mean, that's where I'm kind of thinking they're going, is whatever backup they have on file. My only thing with backups is, I mean, are they not going to remember current, time, like story, wise and events? I mean, because I know everybody has that whole, the reason why Jean's back in her Marvel Girl outfit is because, they backed her up pre, dark Dark Phoenix, blah blah blah. But I'm like, but she still remembers, that
Yeah.
and her past life, like Inferno and the '90s and blah blah blah. And all. So I wouldn't wonder if Wanda would still remember, whatever backup they put her as, but still remember like House of M and whatnot. Because yeah, I mean, clearly they don't forget. They don't forget who she is. I mean, she's always coming out of their mouth, Wanda this, Wanda that. So the Pretender.
A
So
pretender.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we've seen officially someone backed up, from a previous version. Because with Jean, I would argue at this point, it was just a rumor. It never came to fruition.
right.
It's our Jean. I think Jordan D. White also said in an interview that she wears the Marvel Girl outfit as a rejection of, the Phoenix and stuff like that. Whatever. I don't know it. I saw that on Universal X-Men. I
Yep.
didn't investigate it any further, but I don't think we've seen, because I think like with Alex, I'm like, well, why doesn't Alex just back up an earlier version of himself before the Access event? But I
Right.
think there's some characters like Storm who have said, I don't want to be backed up. I don't want to die. I don't want a new body. I want to live. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. And I think
Yeah.
characters are very beautiful when they embrace their trauma, and trauma is who you are. It's a part of life. So
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, so the Pretender, she's been dead, or she's been done killed. And
That bitch been strangled.
I disagree with
Choked
you
out.
in that I saw it coming, because like I was initially shocked to see her in Sword, but I wish they would have made her a plot point throughout the entire gala and
Mhm.
sort of littered the gala with, oh, who's going to get murdered, because we were going into the Hellfire Gala knowing someone's going to get murdered.
Right.
I wish they would have given us a couple of suspects, and then at the end it would have been whoever. It
Mm-hmm.
felt a little left field for me, and it's not a testament to anyone's writing. I get it. That's just the way the story unfolded. But I really wish the Hellfire Gala could have had positioned some characters for murder. And then at the end, it'd be Wanda.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could have gone, any way. And, it would have been nice to kind of had this little subtle, hints and things kind of trickling down, away. But I mean, it's playing out how they see it, and obviously there's going to be big repercussions from it. You got the Trial of Magneto, which I don't know, which could possibly lead into the Inferno.
I have it in my notes. It's going to lead into Inferno, because
Yeah.
I thought Trial of Magneto was going to start in September. It's starting August 18th.
Right.
All right. Trial of Magneto, issue number 1, is going to be by Leah Williams and Lucas Rornek. And they're going to presumably do all 5 issues. And do you want to get into the trailer we saw?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to hit play on the trailer for me. Give me a second here. All right. Boom. So we start off with Rachel using
Yay!
her. I know. I'm so happy to see Rachel.
Me too. That was awesome. I like the first face you see in the trailer, Miss Rachel Summers.
Miss Rachel Summers is back, and she's using her chrono skimming powers.
Yes, and I gotta say, I mean, Leah Williams having brought that ability back. I think a lot of people forgot that she could do that. So it was nice to see that being used again, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her going more into that, especially with this. Obviously, she's not going to find out who did it, but we're going to definitely see obviously bits of the scene play out. So no, it was really such an awesome image.
Yeah, and we know the reason why she won't find out who did it. It's because in earlier issues of X Factor, she talked about how that power was very limiting and exhausting, and not always reliable, and it takes a lot out of her. So I love that so much. And then,
in other words, that's the writer's way of saying we don't want to give too much away. So if we're going to just limit her, limit that ability.
Yeah, it's a little too convenient of a power, TBH. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with them limiting it, but I'm glad they're also using it. And I think this is, again, it's not a Deus Ex Machina where it's just coming out of nowhere. This is something that's been planted for a long time.
And I gotta say too, I love that we're seeing her, kind of play a part here. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, we love our God Queen Jean, but it's nice to have Rachel actually come into focus, a little bit, being use.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's great. She's in focus. She looks immaculate. All the DMs I got today were about her turtleneck. Everyone loves this outfit. I think it looks great. I have no opinion on it other than she looks great.
It's okay. I don't love it, but I mean, I I kind of feel bad for Rachel because she's had some. I mean, the Hound costume obviously is probably her most famous. I mean, I'm more partial to her first Phoenix costume. I think it was just such a classic design, and would not be upset if she went back to that. My opinion, if they were going to give the Phoenix back to a character, it should have been her.
I agree.
Just
I
saying.
agree. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
So the shot expands, and we got the
Mm-hmm.
Wolverines there. We got Sync, we got Domino, we got Amazing Baby, we got Dakin, and we got North Star.
Yeah, it's nice to see X Factor coming back together again to investigate this murder of Wanda, even though it's unfortunate the series was canceled. Um,
Mhm.
but nice to see that they're still operating together as a team.
Well, what I like about having these characters here is one, you have North Star, who's head of X Factor. You got the Wolverines and Dakin, who can
Right.
use their scent, and Amazing Baby, presumably. And then you got Sync, who can obviously sync in with those powers. And then you have Domino for luck
But do you think though,
or security, whatever. You know?
with you've got Wolverine, Laura, then Logan, then Dakin,
Mhm.
do you, and of course they're hyper sense of smell. I got a feeling though they're not going to really be able to pick up anything because I feel like that would be too easy too. That
Oh,
something's going to kind of mask that ability to kind of take that sense away from, not like from them, but off whoever did this trail.
I absolutely agree. Whoever did this covered their tracks because in the
Beast.
next shot, fuck yes, that fucking murderous psycho. Because she was a fucking doombot when he went to go see her during Endangered Species, and that
Right.
asshole pulled a grudge. As we discussed earlier today.
Just saying.
Just saying. So the next shot is Wanda running. Rachel does her chromo skimming and sees that Wanda is running. I don't know how you felt about this shot. It felt a little out of place for me to see her running,
Right, and not fighting.
and not fighting, given all the power she wields, and so obviously she's depowered, but I guess like Wanda isn't supposed to be a fighter. We saw that in AVX when she was versus, Hope. Hope just like decks her. But I would assume she has like basic like training and
Some kind of skills, right?
yeah, and can throw
But
a punch.
but then I think too, in the situation that she was in, I mean it's one of those kind of fight or flight moments. And I mean for me, yeah, I would definitely fight, but if I know that was probably a little bit outmatched somehow, then I would probably be taken off too, to save my ass. But yeah, I mean who knows? My theory is because she's a very powerful character that somehow she gets depowered. Maybe there's a mutant that's working with whoever it is that did this, that has the ability to depower those with power, and maybe that's what happened with her, and that's why she's running, knowing that she can't fight off her attacker. So I mean that's kind of what I got
Agreed.
from it.
Yeah, I agree. Are you saying Artie and Leach are
I
part
did
of
think
it?
about that. I did, but I don't know. I wouldn't. It's so hard to really kind of make these kind of guesses quite yet because I don't want to say that it's them. But then again, you've got Scrambler. I'm sure he's probably on Krakoa too. So,
Mhm.
there could be some kind of internal evil alliance happening. And I'm sure we'll get into the suspects. I mean, but we do know that Mystique is planning something. So, and
Yeah.
she does have a reason to be pissed off at Magneto. So,
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more with you.
mhm.
So, the next shot is obviously Dakin smelling, trying to sniff her out, and that's why he and the other Wolverines are there, and Amazing Baby, and he's able to track her scent to where they would find her body in X Factor 10. So Rachel probably is seeing how it begins, and then Dakin sees how it ends, but they
So
still didn't get it.
it's funny that you just when you brought that up, because my first thought was, well, if he's moving the bush and he's seeing her feet, but Tommy's the one that found her, and that's when the X-Men, came in. I love, though, at the end of X Factor, Jean had the most authentic reaction to seeing
I
Wanda's body,
know.
whereas everybody else was like,
Mm, yeah.
no, Pretender's dead.
Pretender said whatever. Wanda was genuinely like, "Oh, she was nice to me when I was a teenager in my miniseries."
Right, right,
Yeah, I think they just are seeing like the beginning, middle, and end of
right.
Wanda's murder, and then
From
it just
Rachel's.
through Rachel, and then maybe it gets distorted, and that's where Dakin and the Wolverines come in to help find the scent, and that's where it's like, okay, and then it ends here, which is where Tommy found her.
Right, right.
So, like, yeah, I mean, that's great. I love that they're using their powers for synergy. I think X Factor works. It's why they're that team. The only thing I got to say right now is psychics. Why aren't people bringing the psychics here? I mean, presumably there's no psychic energy or minds to read, but like security on Krakoa is like bad. Like, do they not even have security cameras? Like,
I mean,
like,
come on, Sage.
come on, Doug,
What are you
Sage,
doing?
X Force. Like, X Force is
Yeah.
literally the most useless team ever.
Well, I mean, look, I'm saying, I mean, and who's the one that's heading X Force?
I know.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there could be an agenda behind that. I mean, who knows? So,
yeah, I don't know. Like, even from issue 1, like Xavier gets killed, in
I
X.
know, I
Like
know.
they can't do their job. They can't do their job at all. But I love the next shot where it's Wanda's body, and then there's like a
Yeah.
Krakoan collage around her. And I'm just going to sound them off really quickly, and then we can get into it. On the top left is Dakin and Rachel finding the body. Then North Star, Rachel and Dakin. Then another one of just Rachel and Dakin. Another is of Reyes and Beast. Right there again, performing an autopsy along with other Krakoans. I would say other X-Men, but they're technically Krakoans.
Right.
And then Beast and iBoy talking, Lorna and Scott watching the autopsy or examination going on, and then Lorna looking very upset.
So, I'm glad to see Lorna here having a reaction, because I thought it was kind of odd in the first issue of the recently launched X-Men series, where she says to Cyclops, "I have a confession to make," and he says, "If you're going to tell me you murdered Wanda, I don't want to hear it." And then she just kind of goes on about the treehouse and whatnot. And so I'm like, kind of odd that she didn't have a reaction, or we didn't see like a little panel where it was just like dialogue and like ... kind of her annoyed that he would even ask or say that.
Because she would have a complicated relationship with Wanda.
Yeah. I mean, but to me, I would still feel like they would see each other. Like Lorna would kind of still see her as a sister. I don't know. I mean,
no, I agree with you.
Yeah. So, but it's nice to see, Lorna here, showing, just or the emotion of devastation that, oh my God, who killed her. And it's just, and of course, there's another scene later that we'll talk about with her, that I'm really curious to see how that plays out. So,
yeah. So, and guys at home, if you don't know, Lorna and Wanda, of course, at one point were considered, Magneto's daughters, both of them. I mean, Lorna still is, up in the air right now with Wanda, even though in the last issue of Sword, if that was Magneto, has said, "You'll always be my daughter, regardless of genetics," which I thought was a beautiful line.
I love that too.
I love it. So that's why I hope we'll get into theories in a bit, but, Lorna and Wanda had a moment during the X Factor relaunch.
Yep.
Where they were kind of together. Lorna eventually went into space and was with the Inhumans and had time with Luna. And Luna called her and Luna is Quicksilver's daughter, called her Auntie Lorna. And then even before all of that, after New X-Men, Lorna and the twins, Quicksilver and Wanda, had a moment where they went to Genosha to sort of grieve Magneto when we thought Magneto was Zorn and died. So they have history, and I'm glad that history is being respected again.
Right.
I was going to call her Lorna Williams. Leah Williams is the master of remembering these character beats from previous issues and using them for plot.
And I love seeing that. I love seeing that the past, isn't forgotten. especially now with this new era of X-Men, especially you see with Hickman, he's always going back to, past, history, past story for what's going on now. I mean, we saw it even, I think it was House of X4, where or was it? I think either four. I think it was either issue 4 or 5, where the X-Men were resurrected, and Storm is reintroducing the X-Men. And when she's talking to Jean, she's like, "How do I know it's you?" And Jean says, "Oh, I'm the only me that ever was." Clearly, a callback to Inferno. And then we see that again during the giant size X-Men issue, where Jean and Emma are in her mind, and you see that little scene with the dust that Jean makes of her and Storm hugging. So I love seeing callback to past stories for what's going on now, so that it's not forgotten. It's still all in continuity, and great, love it.
No, that's all. Hickman said that going into House of X. Past X-Men history matters, and they have done a good show of faith of that. So I'm so happy with them, and that's another reason why our God Queen isn't backed up from an earlier version. It's because she remembers that, so it can't even be pre-Phoenix, because that is post-Phoenix.
Yep.
And Jean remembers that quite vividly. So
she don't forget.
She don't forget. So then the next thing that happens on screen is the Scarlet Witch is dead, and then we get the Vision, and then we get a shot of the Avengers, specifically Wasp, Vision, Captain America, Iron Man, and Xavier. And Vision's falling to the floor. Wasp looks very upset herself. Xavier just looks really cold, looking down on them, and Iron Man looks like he's ready to fight, like he's dealing with his anger.
I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise that the Avengers are going to come into play in this. I mean, she's definitely one of their own, and I mean, she's always played a big part in their history. Obviously, she's been one for so long. So, I kind of get a feeling that we're going to get kind of like a little mini AVX again. I don't know, especially with new Magneto in play, and of course him being the prime suspect. So yeah, I mean, you knew they were going to come in. And of course, Captain America is going to come in all righteous. And go on it with a big speech and whatnot. So, yeah, that's going to be fun to see how that goes.
Yeah, the only thing I can say about this scene is fuck you, Wasp, and fuck you, Vision.
I know, exactly.
Fuck both of you. I'm sorry, Vision.
No, I completely agree, because really, who is the real responsible person for the whole House of M?
Oh, it's that bitch in the back with her face in her palms. Like, I'm sorry, you caused the disassembled because you had too many margaritas. And I'm sure they were cheap. It was probably skinny little margaritas, because Jan is that basic. Janet's that basic. But no, her name is Jan. I'm sorry, Jan. And then fucking Vision. I'm sorry, you created your own family and moved to what was he in Virginia, or no? Virginia was the name of his wife. I forgot where he moved to, but you created your own family and you forgot about Wanda, and fuck off. And now you're really sad about it. I'm sorry. I don't know if they've had some sort of reconciliation in the last few years, but all I can say is those two have no right to be so upset.
Right. Exactly. I mean, especially for Wasp. I mean, somebody just needs to come in with a can of wasp repellent and just spray that bitch down. I mean, Jesus, seriously. Speaking of me, I've been, drunk, myself here, but there are times where I still know what I'm doing or what I'm saying. I mean,
how much did you have to drink, Wasp? You're literally outside by the pool. Let's say you had 2 or 3 margaritas. You don't just casually be like, oh, darn. Remember when you thought you had 2 kids? And wait, let's frame it for the people at home who don't know. When Avengers Disassemble was happening, the final issue does a flashback after they've kind of deduced it's Wanda who's doing it. And they're like, well, why would she do it? And it flashes back to a day when Wasp is talking to Wanda by the pool. And she's here oh, I thought I was almost pregnant with Hawkeye's, child, but I wasn't. They're drinking margaritas. She goes, oh my God, can you imagine being an Avenger and being a mom? Oh, how funny.
And we shouldn't have kids.
And we should have kids. Oh, you thought you could be one with 2. And Wanda's like, what are you talking about?
I'm yeah, damn.
And then Wasp is like, oh no, JK, gotta go. And then that's when Wanda's like, shit, something's going on here.
Yeah. Wasp definitely pulled that meme that you see of Homer Simpson going back into the bush.
Yeah.
Because after all that went down, I don't think she even once said, guys, I think I may need to be the one to take responsibility because I kind of slipped up and said, you thought you could have 2 kids.
No, she didn't. I'm sorry, Wasp. You're a horrible person. Jesus. God, next. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Get
So
that
then
can of spray.
get that can of spray. I can't believe you're saying. Can you imagine just going up to Michelle Pfeiffer and spraying her with with this can of spray? Like
Michelle Pfeiffer Wasp would have never said that.
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer Wasp is so classy.
Look, I would have taken.
She would never.
No,
she knows how to hold her alcohol. Michelle
all.
Pfeiffer knows how to hold her alcohol.
Somebody needs to take a big, giant fly swatter, hit Wasp, and throw her right into the nearest spider web, and just watch that bitch get through. I'm sorry, I'm being really terrible right now. But come on, she was. I mean, take some responsibility.
Take some responsibility. The only other thing I'm going to say about the scene is that Xavier looks very cold, just standing there.
Shocking.
It's, long gone are the days of the empathetic teacher Xavier, and now it's just this cold head of a nation figure we're getting.
I mean, I completely agree with that, because since this whole thing started, I mean, Xavier has just been very kind of shady from the beginning. I mean, clearly. So I think at the very end of the Astonishing X-Men run, where I think we see, I think it ended with him standing, because he was still in Phantom X's body, and it kind of had him looking out, and I think that's probably where the idea of Krakoa started to form in his head. Although I think he totally took that idea from Jean, because she's the one that started, was coming with the whole mutant nation and whatnot. So during X-Men Red,
creating an idea.
Right, exactly.
To move forward. She collected the greatest once-in-a-generation minds, and Xavier just plucked that from her mind and took the credit for it. And then it's like, you can't be on the council anymore because you're an active, field member. Fuck you, Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier, that fucking bitch thief, so. But yeah,
you should have been the one who's murdered.
But I mean, yeah, he's just from day one has just been very just cold and very calculating. I mean, and I still think that that Cerebro helmet is doing more than just backing up mutants. I think somehow there's some kind of manipulation going on with certain people, and that,
it's literally so big he's storing secrets in there.
Gretchen's hair, that's why it's so big. It's full of secrets. But yeah, I mean, he's just been. I've never just trusted him since this whole thing started, and I'm like, there's going to be a reveal, towards the end, and I think that he is definitely going to be kind of I feel like he's going down the villainous kind of role. So, but that's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole other episode. So the trailer continues, and we get a shot of Magneto in a different costume, a little bit more, nefarious looking. Did he kill her? I don't know. The next shot is of Mystique. And of course, Mystique is the working theory amongst many.
Right. I think they are kind of thrown in these certain characters as kind of maybe obvious red herrings. Who knows? I mean, obviously Magneto is going to be the prime suspect. It's the trial of Magneto. My thing is I don't think he had anything to do with this. I think they want us obviously to believe that it was him. It's so hard to. I mean, who knows? Because you have, Mystique there, and she's looking very, kind of calculating, and she's got that little smirk on her face and whatnot. I mean, the art is just so beautiful. I mean, I would just pick up this book just for that. I mean, obviously, they want us to think that she has something to do with it. My theory too is that maybe Fabian Cortez is also a prime suspect, because I mean he would have cause to want to get at Magneto, especially with that council situation when he was just resurrected. That Jean, backed him up. So
2 of my favorite characters came together.
But yeah, I mean Magneto pretty much shot him down, and now he would have every reason to want to get back at him by any means. And what would be the best way to get at him is murdering one of his children. So, I still consider them his children. I don't care.
Yeah.
Retcon be damned. They are his kids. So
Even if this ends with them not being retconned again to be Magneto's children, I'm always going to think of Wanda and Pietro as Magneto's children.
oh
That's
yeah,
just it.
absolutely.
That's just, it's a hard fact. Um, I hope Fabian Cortez is behind it. I love him. He obviously is no longer in Sword. He popped up in Way of X, a little disgruntled. I think it makes sense that he would be holding a vendetta. So I agree wholeheartedly with you. I love Fabian, as you know.
But it's always two characters that you wouldn't really give a second look to, that you would really want to take, take the eye to, instead of really probably the obvious choices. Because it's to be expected that, okay, yeah, Magneto. Then you got Mystique, Sinister, Exodus. You've got any one of these, villains on Krakoa that probably wouldn't want to have a reason to come at him somehow. And knowing that Wanda had appeared, somebody obviously knows. I mean, again, we've seen Mystique during the gala, kind of being behind the scenes, with, Havoc asking Magneto about Madeline. There was Mystique listening in. She was also chiming in with Emma, having that conversation with those individuals. She's got a scheme going on. So, I mean, who knows? Obviously, her motive is she wants to bring Destiny back. So,
and I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. I agree with everything you said.
Yeah,
I agree with everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, because they've been kind of playing her a lot, with not bringing Irene back. So her motive could be, well, I'm going to play with you too. I'm going to kill your daughter, and she's not considered a mutant anymore. How are you going to bring her back if you're not going to bring, So that's going to be kind of like a card she's going to play against him in that way. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, let's see where they go with it. I'm really excited because the next shot is Exodus, and I thought he was actually voting on something, but if you look at the shot, he's actually throwing a chair out the window, like with his powers.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay,
So,
I'll have to take a look at that again. But
yeah. So he's throwing a chair out the window, and obviously they're having a very intense council meeting. And Magneto's not on the run because he's here and he's in that black grayish outfit. The one thing I do want to note is Emma just not giving any fucks.
I know. She's just sitting to the side, like, okay.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because Emma not giving a fuck. Remember, Emma lived through the decimation. She's over this. She and Cyclops were the ones who really cared about the future of mutant kind. In the end, it was Cyclops who really was the one who, that responsibility fell on his shoulder. But Emma, right after House of M, was devastated. And she and the Astonishing team and the Extinction team, everyone worked together to bring back the mutants and hope. So Emma is just like, listen, we found a way to bring our own back, to repower the mutant gene. Fuck the Pretender. I don't care if she stays dead or alive. I honestly believe that's her perspective.
I mean, remember too, during the House of M limited series, Emma wanted to put her down. She did. I mean, that was her answer to the ending. What was going on with her is put her down.
Yeah. She's like, and then Spider-Man's like, what? She's not a dog. We can't just put her down.
Right. So of course she's not gonna, really have any, cares about what happens to Wanda Maximoff. I mean, she wanted to see her dead.
Flying fuck. Not a flying fuck.
I mean, she's probably looking at her fingernails like, I'm sorry, I'm late for my petty. Gotta go.
I love those gloves. She's been sporting those half gloves for a while now. I know. Girl, like, get Jumbo to make you a new pair.
Diamond bedazzled
ones. So then the next shot is a big team shot with the Wolverines, Cyclops, Northstar, Lorna, Jean, Rachel, Sync, and Dakin.
And clearly they're facing off someone. So
it's got to be Magneto.
I thought that too, but I mean, it could also be the Avengers.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying it's Magneto is because look at Lorna. Lorna's clearly injured. So I think that maybe she tried to reason with Magneto and he got violent with her. And that's why she looks so distraught and why Jean is sort of like consoling her. Which, by the way, I just Instagrammed this. It's a callback to the Phil Jimenez issue where they found
Yeah.
New X-Men, where they found Lorna and Jean was sort of consulting her there. So again, the Hickman era, they do these callbacks, and I'm just so happy with it. But I think it's Magneto. I agree. Maybe it's the Avengers. I hope we
No,
don't get Avengers
no,
versus X-Men.
it could be too. No, it could be Magneto. I mean, it really could just be anything. Because I mean, there is that shot too of Magneto, and you see Wolverine, coming down on him.
Yeah.
Although I wonder though if it's Wolverine coming down on him or if it's Wolverine coming down on somebody else that's just made to look like he's going to attack him.
Oh yeah, I agree
So,
with you.
because if you think about it, it's really stupid to have Wolverine, charge at Magneto when he's the master of magnetism, and here's this guy laced with metal all in his body, so bones. I mean, what was the storyline where Magneto ripped his
Fatal
adamantium?
Attractions.
Yeah, Fatal Attractions, where he ripped the adamantium out of his bone. I mean, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. But
Yeah.
speaking of the Avengers, next shot is Wasp, Captain America, and Iron Man, and they're looking at carnations, flowers. I don't know. It doesn't look like Krakoan flowers to me, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I mean, again, fuck these guys. These are Wasp is like the last one who should be the one to be there, and I hope Leah Williams does make her accountable for these actions. I hope Wasp is there for that reason.
I mean, it definitely should be said that really the whole start of the House of M storyline was really because of, Janet just drunkenly uttering those, words that triggered, Wanda's memory, causing her slow descent into madness.
Madness.
Yeah, decimating half the mutant population. So
And her own team, and going against her own team.
Right. I would be curious though if that revelation ever came to be, how would the Avengers treat her, Wasp?
Yeah. Well, you know what they could be doing? Rachel or some other telepath could be like, let me like skim, the scene here, and they pick up on Wasp's thoughts, and they're like, Wasp, is there something you want to say? It would be wonderful if it was Emma who did it. You're like, oh, darling, you finally did something useful.
Confess.
But yeah, and then so the next shots in the trailers are just Xavier and Magneto, and the cover we've seen with Magneto hovering over Wanda's body. But what I find to be completely interesting is, of course, the words "the truth may burn Krakoa to the ground," and that is an obvious reference to the Inferno.
I mean, and when you look back to the Inferno image by Mark Brooks, Magneto is wearing that outfit from this coming story arc. So I definitely think this could lead into the Inferno limited series. I
don't know the schedule for this. Is this weekly? Is this a weekly series?
I don't know. Yeah, I thought about that too, because Inferno, isn't that supposed to come out in the fall too? Isn't that October?
Yeah.
When it's supposed to. So maybe it is. Maybe they're going to do it like that.
Yeah. I'm down with it. Look, I'm happy with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, they did that with the Phoenix Resurrection. I mean, it was like every week. I think they skipped like 1 week and went to the other, but yeah, they made that weekly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did it that way, just to kind of get the story moving along.
Yeah, and Uncanny X-Men Disassembled, that was like 11 weeks of like weekly X stories. I'm glad I did not have a podcast. That would be have been so exhausting. A Ten of Swords was laborious, to say the least. Yeah, so I think the last thing that this trailer has that most people are talking about is Magneto and Sinister. People love that shot. They're like, are they going to kiss? I'm like,
I know. I thought that too. Just kiss him.
Just kiss him. But yeah, so I'm sure Magneto says, Sinister says something very off-putting about the Pretender's death, and he gets angry and confronts him.
Magneto's not having it.
He's not having it. And then what you were talking about with Wolverine coming at Magneto, and then boom, the Trial of Magneto, Leah Williams, Lucas Werneck. I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong, Lucas. When we have you on the podcast, I'll know how to pronounce your name. I'll meticulously Google it. But yeah, so what are your thoughts? I want to know all of your general thoughts.
I mean, I think this is definitely going to be very impactful, and it's definitely going to have ramifications that are definitely going to be felt down the road right afterwards. I mean, it's how many issues is it? 5? I think is it 5 issues?
Five.
So yeah, 5 issues, and to me, it's going to be fun, playing, the guessing game. Who. It's like the mutant version of Clue, and Scarlet Witch is Mr. Body, and we got to figure out who did it. It was Magneto with the pipe at the Quiet Council room.
Look, I'm all for that level of Agatha Christie style of storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we'll get it. I
Probably not.
don't. I don't think. Yes. Oh my god, I love it. Oh my god, shout out to Namor Cosplay who threw that into the DMs today. But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get like a good murder mystery. I think it's just gonna be, anyone's guess. It could be anyone. Things will come out of left field, and I'm sure many people have their theories, and some will be right and everything like that. I look at everything from a writing plot perspective as if I was looking at a book. Comic books are written and published so differently. Right. So I'm useless here. I'm just turning off my brain and going to enjoy it. But that being said, I hope it's a good murder mystery. I hope by the end of the first issue, we have 3 main suspects and who did it and how and why. I hope it is something like that. I
mean, for me personally, I hope it's someone that we just weren't expecting. That I think would be a really good surprise. But I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, so who do you think? Who's your number one suspect?
I mean, right now, my number one suspect is going to be Mystique and Cortez. I think they're working in tandem together. I think they want revenge on Magneto. I mean, they both have their motives, as you said. They somehow found a way to turn off Wanda's powers. She's not a mutant, so I don't know. Like, can Leech do that? I don't know. I don't know how you can turn off a mutate's power. However they do it, they did it, and is it going to be someone left field? Sure, fine. I don't know, but to me, it makes sense that Mystique would be involved, and this leads into Inferno. Maybe it's Madeline. Maybe Maddie's back.
We could only hope. I would love that. I mean, hey, great. Thanks, Matt. No, I love Wanda. So, I mean, she's definitely, she's not going to stay dead. I mean, come on, let's just be honest. I mean, we're definitely going to see her again. She's going to come back somehow. I mean,
if she stays dead, I would be shocked.
I would too, because I mean, like I said earlier, with the popularity of her character having really taken off, you got WandaVision, it was just so well received, and one of the most popular shows on Disney Plus right now. And again, it's just garnered 23 Emmy nominations. So they're not. I would think it'd be really just dumb if they got rid of Wanda's character in the comics. So
yeah, I agree. She's not going to stay dead. She can't stay dead.
I do have a little bone to pick right now. When we're talking about Wanda, so little off topic. I just came back from the Hallmark store where I did get some Christmas ornaments because they already debuted Christmas in July.
I love how basic you are.
Totally.
Christmas in July.
Let me just say something. How is it that, and no shade on Falcon and Winter Soldier, but why is there a Captain America Sam Wilson on display for Christmas as a Christmas ornament and not freaking Wanda or Vision? When that show came out first, I was like, what? Really? They even got a Loki in his classic costume.
Really?
But really? They don't have Wanda. I would totally have gotten the Scarlet Witch and Vision from WandaVision.
Oh, same. But now I'm actually going on Hallmark.com and I'm like, I want those too for my Christmas tree.
I get that they pre-do these ornaments, ahead. Mm-hmm. But I mean, again,
but they would have known about Wanda.
WandaVision was the first show that debuted, followed by Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, but yet that ornament comes out first of him and not.
Wait, are they available in your Hallmark store?
Oh, it's available all over now because ornament debut was July 10th.
Oh, well, the problem is like you can pick them up in store. You can't order them online.
Look, I used to work in a Hallmark store years ago. Okay, so I'd know this.
Sam Wilson as Captain America. I love his look.
Oh, he looks great. Don't get me wrong. And I'm probably going to get him.
Wanda. I'm typing out Wanda. There's nothing here. It's so sad.
There's not.
Why is
hey,
there
and I'm like,
Wanda?
ugh. I
Missed
mean, at least
opportunity. Maybe
seriously,
she's going to be a secret debut.
they. I don't think
Mm,
so. I have the Dream book. She's not in there. Maybe
Marvel.
maybe next year, but they need to do a Wanda, Vision, and Agatha. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
So,
I agree. All right. Well, it's July and we're getting ready for Christmas. Yes.
ho ho ho.
Oh, I was going to make a very obvious joke there.
Just do it.
Ascani, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at mdbrower81 and on Twitter at mikebrower81.
And I don't know if we can announce this now. I'm going to gauge your reaction,
Go
but
for it.
we had such a wonderful reaction to the Art of Lucas shirt he did of our God Queen in space, and I wanted to do a second shirt, and you have agreed to do it.
Yes, I have.
And hopefully, we're going to have that out in about a month, and more details to come.
I'll just say I will start working on the designs this weekend. So,
Yes.
mhm.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, you're very quick with your art, so. But I don't think we've ever worked together where I've been like, can you change this? Thank you. Here's 100 changes.
Oh God, maybe I should reconsider my decision now. No. This is going to be good. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. So, guys, that's coming. We can't wait to share it for you. Obviously, I have been a fan. Did you know this? I have been a fan of your art for a long time. I was going through my iPad 1 and I have some of your illustrations there. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, because you said that there was one that I did years ago where it was of Teen Jean, Hope Summers, and Rachel Summers with the big like Phoenix logo behind them.
I have that saved on my iPad 1. That must have been like what, 2011, 2012, something like
Had
that.
Been like, yeah, I think it was like 2012. It's funny because I was going through my
or maybe a little later because was she in her modern her modern teen jean?
2013 probably.
Yeah, there we go. My iPad still would have been good then.
Yeah, because it was funny because I was going through my old artwork and I just recently posted a story of that one year that I drew my sister as a Spider-Woman from 2012.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I gotta say, I mean, I'm glad that my artwork has evolved. So
I think you're still so talented.
Oh, thank you. No, it's fun, and if you want, I do have a T-shirt line on TeePublic. Link is on my Instagram, so feel free to click and peruse the 10 or 11 items I have on there right now, and just let me know what you think.
I have your Hellcat shirt. It is probably one of my favorite shirts. And I'm not just saying that because I love you so much, but literally the design,
Likewise.
Like even like the Hellcat is like, you have her little head on there and she's just so wonderful. And I got it long sleeve. Like I love my black long sleeves and I just love wearing it. I can't wait for the fall where I can wear it with like a bomber jacket, my skinny jeans and like my fuck you, Madison Montgomery, like Louboutins. Like it's going to be boss.
So I tried to, I have a Scarlet Witch piece of art that I actually had on my TeePublic site, and they kept taking it down. So
no, that's because she's so big right now, but
yeah.
she will rise again.
Yes. The witch will rise.
The witch will rise. All right, guys, I'm going to throw up a link to his TeePublic store. You'll be able to see it. And guys, thanks for joining us for this breakdown. It was supposed to be a mini-sode. I think we're coming in at 1 hour, so that's good.
That's all. Hey, I'm for it. I love it.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.